So if I turn it like this, orientation is locked. Rotate. Okay. Guess we're doing it this way. I'm not letting nothing stop me from doing this video because one, it's long overdue. Okay, so one is long overdue. Two, I've been saying I was gonna do it and I've been finding every reason not to, and I keep seeing it pop up. So I'm like, okay, do the video portion. Anyways, hey y'all, hey, and welcome back to Ada Marie. We do all things astrology, healing, and oh my god, it's been that long. Welcome back to Ada Marie, where we do all things astrology, healing, and affirmation. Y'all gotta forgive me. No, seriously though, this is a really, really good topic. Real shadow work. I see a lot of videos about what shadow work is, and in this video I don't want to go too much about what it is because I feel like it can be a conundrum, right? And I want to more so go about tips on it. So that's what I'm gonna do in this video. Let's get some tips on how you can do shadow work. If you're really into shadow work, it's more so, I'm like more so solution based. So getting stuck on what it is or what it could be, what it's not, I'd rather just go ahead and go straight into the tips. You do these tips, I promise you will be doing shadow work. Okay, first things first I have is self-love. I have everything written on the board. So if you see me looking at the board, that's what I'm looking at. So we're going to do it like that. First things first is self-love. You have to have self-love in order to do shadow work. You have to love yourself enough to work on you. You have to love yourself enough to want to work on you, to see the ugly truths about you, to see the ugly sides about you that you really don't want to see, and to fix it. You have to have self-love. You have to be able to love yourself through all that, right? So number one tip is start to practice self-love. Once you start to practice self-love, you can start to go ahead and start to dig into your shadow work. Tip after that is dive deep into your thoughts and your feelings. Now, I'm using myself for example. With me, sometimes I don't want to dive too deep into my feelings or too deep into my thoughts. So I would like try to stay busy, call somebody, try to go do something, try to go help somebody, go do something else. Anything to keep my mind off of that shadow thing that I'm not trying to see or look at. But thank God for my lover, my love. When he don't want to talk to me or something like this, and this is when you can do it, when you run into a dead end, when somebody you call is not answering the phone, when some plans got canceled, this is the perfect time to do it. Shadow work is always there, so it's good to tap into it whenever you can, make time for it. But the best times is when something happens or something goes astray and you left with just idle time. That's like the perfect time to do your shadow work. Back to what I was saying, dive deep into those thoughts. And as I started to wait and I started to go into my thoughts, I'm like, damn, why am I having these negative thoughts? Like, why are my thoughts so negative? It's kind of scary, right? When you start to look at the way you think, matters how you want to think, how you say you may think, how you may act, matters that when you actually look at the thoughts that's inside of your head. When you actually feel the feelings that you feel. When you say, for instance, nobody's abandoning you, but you feel abandoned for some reason. When you start to feel those feelings and think those thoughts, my question to you is, do you like what you see? Do you like what you feel? If not, what are you going to do about it? So like I said, I like solutions. So it starts to come from most negative thoughts come from fear. This is why fear is very dangerous, right? So my thing is, and one, you have to admit that you're scared of something, because I know a lot of us don't want to admit that we scared of something, or you just like, I'm mad. And usually when you're mad, it's because the fear of you're not being able to control, or the fear that something is not going to go the way you want it to go. So ask yourself, what is it that you fear? Why do you feel that this would even happen? And is it a big chance of this happening, or are you just self-sabotaging? Now, self-sabotaging is you making up stuff in your head just because deep down inside, you don't feel like you deserve it. For whatever reason, nobody has to know that. That's between you and you. Whatever reason you feel like you don't deserve that, ask yourself why you feel like you don't deserve that and why you are self-sabotaging. Brittany Lee, if I'm not mistaken, she said that Self-sabotage is a form of self-hate. Going back to self-love, once again, when you do your shadow work, you're going to have self-love. Got to love yourself enough to know that what you're doing is ugly. What you're doing, give me one second. What you're doing is ugly. What you're doing is something that you don't like, but you love yourself enough because you are worth looking at this and worth working on it. Next one is take a look at your space. I was telling somebody, when I clean, I start to get messages. Usually when we go through shadow work, a lot of people don't like to look at it because it's like a lot to take in, a lot to understand, and they don't know where to start. They looking at it and they're like, okay, this is this, but how do I fix it? So what I notice is when I'm cleaning, I start to get messages, and I feel my best when my space is clean. I feel my best. And when my space is not clean or my space is crowded, or I just had an argument or something, and I come home and I'm looking, I'm like, oh shit, when that happened? So take a look at your space. Make sure your space is clean. Also take a look at your well-being. Like, I don't know if you can see, like, I'm breaking out over here, and it's like, all that would tell you what it is that you need to work on. All that would tell you, all those are signs that you need to dig deep into your shadow work. Let's go to the next one. Take a look at your surroundings. When I say your surroundings this time, I'm talking about outside of us, right? So not our personal space, not our mind, not inside our body, not our body. But we are looking at our surroundings as far as our loved ones or the people that we have relationships with, whether it's a friendship, a love relationship, a parent, sibling. Look at your loved ones, and are you doing your part with that relationship? Also look at your responsibilities. Are you taking care of your responsibilities? I gotta drink some water. Are you taking care of your responsibilities? And this will also lead you, down the road to helping you work on your shadow work, especially with those responsibilities, right? And a lot of people are like, well, how can I look at my other ones or my loved ones or my responsibilities when I'm not 100% myself? Because the way this thing works is the more you give, the more you get as well. And I'm not saying pour from an empty cup, but it's something that you can do. It's always something. Matters how small it is, if it's big, it's something that you can do. And in return, that same help that you give out, you will give back in return. May not be from that person, maybe from somebody else, but the law says that what I give is what I get. So moving to the next one. Oh, this is my favorite one, actually. I remember somebody asked me, like, where's your faith? Take a look at your faith. How is your faith doing? Now, right now, it could be a little iffy because I've talked to some people and I've seen where they were, and that question came up to my head as well. Where's your faith? And it could be hard, but that's the thing about faith is when it's hard, you still believe. And if you need to work on your faith, how I've been working on my faith is, like, at this moment, I don't even listen to music. At this point, like, the music I listen to is not going to have any words. It's going to be like some vibrational music or affirmations, because I don't think y'all get it. We've been saying this for a long time, but I don't think y'all get it, because if y'all did, you would not be listening to what you listen to. You wouldn't be watching what you're watching, because a lot of time we act off of things that we'd have picked up subconsciously. We'd have picked it up subconsciously, and then we end up acting it out, and then we wonder why things aren't working, because these thoughts are running back in our head. Like, think about it. Think about yesterday. How many songs you heard? And in those songs, how many of those songs had something negative that you wouldn't want to happen to you? Think about something that you saw. Think about something you laughed at on Instagram. It's like so crazy. That's why I have to log off Instagram sometimes, but it's so crazy because when you look at certain things, it's just a whole bunch of negative, like, and you are taking all this in, and then you end up playing it out in your relationship, playing it out in your head, and now you think of these negative thoughts. So I think it's very important to have positive affirmations playing 24/7. If you need some music, even if, okay, say you love the beat, if you have to listen to the instrumental, listen to the instrumental, but you have to be careful on those words, because we continue to say those things over and over, and we think we just saying a song, but we are really, if I can talk, we are really affirming these things, and then we wonder why our faith is so jacked up. So, ways to build faith: affirmations. Also, prayer. How's your prayer life? Are you praying as much as you checking into that show? Are you praying as much as you're calling this person? So prayers and affirmations helps a lot with your faith as well, because sometimes it can get hard. But it's a post I saw. What it say? Trust in the process, even when the process don't seem like it's processing. That's your faith. So find different ways to build your faith. And last but not least, once again, self-love. Remember, you are doing all this because you love yourself so much that you want to be better, that you want to vibrate higher, that you want to transcend, that you want to ascend. Like, you want to be better. You want to be your best version. And the only way you can be that best version if you work on that shadow. Because no matter if you think that shadow is hiding, no matter if you think somebody can't see that shadow, that don't mean that's not there. So you still have to work on that, because if not, it will still bring you down. So these are my tips, and this is what came to me this morning, because I was looking at my thoughts and I was like, ugh, why I think like that? Like, what the fuck is that? And so I was like, well, that's me need to do some shadow work. Like, I really got to work on that. I shouldn't be thinking like that. Matters if it's true or not. Why is it a thought? And because it's a thought, it's what's going to make it true. But I'm going to stop right there. I want to go in circles. These are my tips. I'm going to go over them one more time. Self-love, self-love, self-love. Dig into your feelings and your thoughts. Take a look at your space and your well-being. Take a look at your surroundings. Make sure your loved ones and your responsibilities are being taken care of. Take a look at your faith through affirmations and prayer. And self-love. Love yourself enough to know that you can get through this and you can be a better you. So until then, peace, namaskar. See you next time.